Make no mistake, the returns from Wipro over the last 10 years has been very good, especially because the last 1.5 years has been excellent. But suppose 10 years ago you had a choice of which share to buy and you were tossing between Google and Wipro. Both were more or less at the same price, assuming both were at the same price. And you had seen the past data, you would have found that Wipro is a solid company with a very good track record, decent growth, paying dividends, and it would have been a great value stock you could have bought in 2010. And in 2021, if you compared the two, you would find that Google has run miles ahead of Wipro, even though on the day that you looked at it in 2010 or 2005, Wipro looked to be a much better company. It had better price to book ratio, better PE ratio, it had decent growth. Of course, Google growth was much superior, but still it had decent growth. It was dollar denominated earnings and rupee denominated expenses. There was very little to say why you should have invested in Google, right, instead of Wipro. But you invested in Wipro, or you did not invest in Wipro, or you invested in Google, whatever it be. 10 years later, you find that Google has had a vertical takeoff like this, and Wipro has been slanting. And if you keep both in dollar terms, you'll find that Wipro has just stagnated. Wipro has definitely given you a good return in terms of rupees, but it's not a great return in terms of dollars. But you know how much Google has given over the last 10 years, right? It has been a vertical rise, especially in the last pandemic year, has been just vertical like this, right? So what is an important learning for us from this? As a value investor, you would have definitely taken interest in Wipro because it's a better known company with a part of the Sensex, decent bona fide and long history, a household name in the sector, and it was selling at a same price or maybe 15 times the earnings or 17 times the earnings, same as Google. Right, so compared to Google, Wipro looked like a better bet. Now that's exactly where the problem comes in. In the technology sector, largely you're not rewarded for what has happened in the past. You are rewarded for what that company can do in the future. Can the company use its cash, go and acquire something sensible? Can it acquire people from a competitor? Can it create that kind of value? And that is not available in ratios. All the ratios we use are from our other industries like manufacturing. Let's say for a Maruti, it might make very little difference between 1 year to another year. Forget the COVID epidemic, but otherwise 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22 would look more or less same. Of course, there would be some organic growth. When you have 55% market share, it could go to 55.5 or it could drop to 54.75. I don't think the fluctuation could be much more different over the last 4 or 5 years. Same thing for Hindustan Lever or any company, Coke, Pepsi. The kind of change that happens is not really much, but in technology, the changes are dramatic. A company can get completely wiped out. I mean, companies like IBM today do not really matter much. Of course, it's big, it's doing well. Microsoft is doing well. Intel is not even visible. Then Intel has a competitor, I don't remember the name, NVIDIA or something like that, and was a competitor to Intel, and he's beaten the pants off Intel, right? Now, these kind of things do happen, so you have to be in the technology sector. You are rewarded for the future growth that is going to happen, and that can happen anywhere. It need not happen only from the Wipros of the world. 10 people can leave Wipro and start a company on their own, right? And that company can do very well. Mindtree was a company which was run by an ex-Wipro person, and he ran it very well. And then that company got sold, and then the same promoter with maybe a bunch of people, somebody from Wipro, somebody from L&T, and somebody from Mindtree, they've created another company that is called Happiest Technologies or something to that effect, right? So how do you judge a company? Never judge a IT company by the PB ratio, by the PE ratio, by the dividend payout. Does not really matter. You have to have the ability to talk to the management or talk to somebody close to the management, maybe some vendor, I don't know, and make sure that the company is in the right direction, it is acquiring the right assets, it's talking to the right people, it is in the right industry. Those things are far more important. Don't just rely on the past data, it is completely useless. Return on assets don't really matter at all. All asset that one software engineer needs is a laptop, right? He can work from anywhere, literally. Of course, there are other requirements, you need servers, etc. I'm not belittling that, but really you don't have to build a cement plant where you can't use it for anything other than making cement. You can't make fertilizer in a cement plant, you can't do refining oil in a cement plant. So here is a business where you have to completely believe what is going to happen in the future, and this company has the clairvoyance to see what is going to happen in the future. If you can't see that, then the chances are you'll get wiped out. Look at Zerodha. Zerodha works on the principle that they have to give maximum pleasure to the client for user interface and interaction. HDFC Securities does not think that is necessary. So you log into HDFC Securities and after 5-10 minutes you find that you've been logged out, then you log in again, right? Zerodha has much greater pleasure to handle. Definitely better experience. Why? Because it must have been done by a 22-year-old who didn't know anything about the share market, but he knew everything about how to give the client great experience. So I get much better experience in Zerodha than I get anywhere else. I'm not even recommending, I'm not saying you open an account, I'm not getting paid to say that or not paid to say that. I'm just giving you an example that in technology companies, you look at growth and what can happen in the future, rather than looking at the past. Of course, 5 years later, 7 years later, 10 years later, 20 years later, who will survive, we do not know. But one thing is there, definitely HDFC Bank will survive, so they will make sure that HDFC Securities survives. So you can take a view that it is a good company, stable company, etc. But growth prospects will be more with startups than these companies. And in the startups, there will be burnout. There will be some which will burn themselves completely and can't revive. All these things will happen. But don't use the old ratios which we used for manufacturing technology, manufacturing companies which had stable markets. These are companies which do not need assets, but these are companies which could grow at a fantastic pace and completely scorch the earth. Good companies just do not need great assets. The best assets are its people, the environment and the client list. Unfortunately, your balance sheet does not capture any of this. It captures physical assets. So if you go to Infosys or Wipro, the balance sheet will say how many laptops, how many offices, etc., etc. But the strength lies in the people, in the clients, client contact, and the processes that they have set up. That is not captured by the balance sheet. Thank you.